After 7, let's get the party started.
Yes, and it was approved. It just needs to be told.
I'll hear 3 minutes.
Okay, it is 7:01 on Thursday, February 26th. Let's call the Wilton Board of Education regular meeting to order. Has everyone had a chance to look at the agenda?
Do we need to start?
Is it started? Sorry, thank you. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, we can just repeat. It is now, it's still, now it's 7:02 on Thursday, February 26th, 2026. We'll call the Wilton Board of Education regular meeting to order. Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? Yes. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
You and you.
So moved.
Thank you, Pam.
I'll second.
Mark seconds. All in favor?
No.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Comments from the public. The board has set aside time at the beginning and end of regular meetings for public comments from members of the public to share their views on matters involving the Wilton Public Schools and to help inform the board's decisions on such matters. 2 minutes will be allotted to each speaker and a maximum of 15 minutes to any one subject. For the record, please also give your name and address. The board considers the views of citizens in its deliberations and welcomes and appreciates public comment. The board listens to public comment thoughtfully and with interest. The board, however, generally does not respond to public comment during board meetings by offering commentary or answering questions. The board also invites commentators and the public to contact the board or the superintendent directly with any specific questions or comments. Are there any comments from the public?
No.
Seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda has the fiscal year 2027 budget questions, the business operations meeting minutes from February 5th, and the regular meeting minutes from February 5th. Has everybody had a chance to look at the consent agenda? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Lori. Any questions, comments? Second? Thank you, Nicola. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Board Chair's report. I just would like to take a minute to express the board's gratitude and thanks to all of Wilton's staff and administrators and teachers, and also just the Wilton community at large. It's really amazing to see what this community does for each other in times of sadness, in times of tragedy, and also in times of, unexpected, Mother Nature events, and just the way that we treat each other, the way we comfort each other, the way we take care of each other, the way we listen to each other, and just really the grace and the dignity and just that we provide for each other has just been really moving and profound. And so as a member of this community and as board members, all of this part of this community, I just want to say that we appreciate it and thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna just add to that, and Bob, I want to give you a minute just to share with the board what the last couple of days have been like. There are moments in schools when leadership matters, and coming on the heels of this tragedy, Bob's leadership has been exemplary. He's supported by a tremendous cast, but setting the tone, responding, crossing every T, checking in with every staff member, reaching out to families, and doing it with calm and, as you said, with grace. It's really been a privilege to watch you work this week, and we've got kids here and staff here who are hurting, and as in any large community, the reactions range, and so trying to normalize school and welcome people back, and create a space for people to grieve has been no small challenge. And again, I just personally stand in awe of your work, and you do it really, really well. So do you want to just take a minute and share with the board, some of what's been going on.
Well, our hearts and thoughts go out to the Merrick family. It's been very difficult. You never want to lose a student. So, most importantly at this time, we're trying to support the family. His older sister, who was a Wilton High School student, and then a very tight-knit group of students, primarily senior boys, who were very close. We were able to identify right away and just try to rally around them with all the resources that we have and the people. We have a tremendous mental health team that met here actually this morning, just as Dr. Smith said, to make sure that we're just trying to do everything we can possible for everybody involved, which is hard. But these boys, we've really helped them a lot. We opened up the school last week for them to come in and most importantly, be together. It's important at this time just to really listen a lot. You have to listen and read the room and determine what they need. They might need moments of silence. They might need interactions with a school psychologist or an associate principal. So I think the team has done a really good job taking care of them, and that will continue. So we set up just resource centers where kids can go. We anticipated this happened earlier in the week, and of course we had a couple snow days. So when the students returned, they had an opportunity to get together in our college and career center, which we kind of just turned into a support and grief center, if you will. Very well staffed, and a lot of snacks for the kids to attract them, and some comfort dogs, which have been a tremendous hit. The students gravitate towards toward the comfort dogs, and so taking care of those students, but also anybody who may previously have been impacted or affected by loss, which is obviously many of us. So just to identify the students that you need to support and consider all the angles. It's been a tremendous team effort with our school counselors, our social workers. Kim Zemo, as you know, is just amazing in this area. Melissa Barrett has done tremendous work on behalf of the school. Nicole Kersey, Brian, who really supported this student and this family, and Kathy Weiss and Mike DiGennaro. So, really good team effort. And then beyond that, we talk about taking care of the caregivers so you can take care of the students when they return. And so we really just wanted to, prep the staff and get them ready and give them time to communicate with us. I think that the team laid out a pretty good plan to ensure that they had the information they need to hopefully be successful with the students. And, there are eyes and ears on, in front of the students all the time. So there's been good opportunities for a couple of, faculty meetings to glean feedback from the staff that then inform the work that we did this morning, again, with the crisis team, to make sure that we're malleable, we're adjusting as we go. And, so far, we've had some reports from the students that it's been very helpful to them, which is encouraging, and I think that keeps the team going. But I can't say enough about, we just, to your point, the community, our students are just such quality kids. If you heard Grant Stein's announcement to the whole community the other day for an 18-year-old kid, it was remarkable to, foster the courage and the sentiment that he had. And I think that was helpful and encouraging to hear that from one of our leaders. So Grant's amazing. We have a plan in place for tomorrow, and then we'll adjust accordingly. And most importantly, our hearts and prayers go out to this family. It's very difficult, and our kids are amazing, and our staff are amazing, and we will find a way to work through this and just support this family and our staff. And I think that's what we're doing. So there's hope. There's hope.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think, just to kind of wrap that up, last night we had an hour-long call with Dr. Andrew Gerber, who is the president over at Silver Hill Hospital, and he's been a tremendous friend and colleague for us for many years and has walked with us through, similar tragedies of the past. And I'm always comforted by his presence, and, he's able to step into a group with parents, and you don't know, kind of who's in front of you. And he just seems to be able to strike the right note all the time. And so, his message to the group last night, and, Melissa, you were present, so if I missed something, please weigh in here. But it was, pay attention to your kids. check in and don't be afraid to check in. Listen and find reason to be optimistic in this world, and there are lots of reasons, and share that with your children. And I found that particularly compelling in all that he offered last night. And he, like so many others here locally and in the region, just continue to stand alongside and offer support. And so we're very blessed to be where we are in these times, because there are so many really high quality experts who care and are willing to give their time and attention to support us in our hour of need. And so I'm really grateful for that too.
And I think for those who may need it or wanted, Dr. Gerber's remarks will be available.
Yeah, so they'll be on our website. Yeah, and so we'll once that's all organized, we'll share kind of where people can find it. It's 45 minutes. It's well worth the watch. And so we had I think like 22 participants and some again really thoughtful questions. And so there was some really good dialogue that I think most people would find worthwhile to watch. So thank you, and to the entire staff, thank you. On to some, much more mundane matters. We have had a couple of snow days, and we're out of practice. There was a time in life when 4 or 5 snow days was the norm, and I don't know.
They were built into the calendar,
yes,
and just
right. Depends on your perspective, but it's been a while, and so I've gotten a few questions. What's going to happen? Are we going to start to take days off of April break? And I had to go back and revisit some of our ancient history from the last time we were in this situation. And so right now, if all proceeds according to our hopes, the last day of school for everybody except Miller Driscoll will be June 19th. We will plan to be in session that day, and we'll have appropriate recognitions for Juneteenth and all of that. But we'll be in school. If we have another closure, it would be my desire to push it to the early part of the following week before we start taking days off of April break. And so, I'm thinking, we probably have 1 or 2 more days, and then we have to seriously think about April break. And then if we have to get into April break, and no one needs to remember this because I'll write it all down, I just want to get through next Tuesday to see where we are weather-wise, and we would work, kind of back to front.
well, let's hope that the snow melts and there isn't more coming.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I think this, the last piece, these plans are obviously all preliminary, but because of the, was it the water fountain pipe that burst that forced us to close Miller Driscoll a couple of weeks ago? It would be my intention, to come forward with requests to the board to waive that 181st day for students. And so then their last day would then correspond with the rest of the district, and then that day would be a work day for teachers. And so that would be the same work day that the high school staff has.
So I guess let's just push through to March, and at our next meeting we can see where we're at.
That's right. So that's just so people are aware of what my thinking is at this point. That's what it is. That's all I have for you.
Okay. Financial report.
So right now we're feeling pretty optimistic. We're keeping a close eye on expenditures. We've asked all of the departments to go through and review any open purchase orders that they have to close out anything from the first part of the year, so that we can keep good tabs on where we're at. We did receive our first excess cost reimbursement since I wrote this, and it did come in a little bit higher than what I had initially put on our sheet. So we received 1.2 million, which is the best that we've had in many years. And then there will be a smaller amount that we will receive in the spring, but again, that's always subject to whatever the state decides. Like, they have a formula, but they don't always follow it. So we know we have the 1.2, and we'll see what else we end up with.
What had we planned for?
So I was putting in conservatively at 1.1 on the financial report.
Okay.
So we will make an adjustment to that on the next report.
And if it stays in that kind of trajectory, do you have an idea of like what the percentage they're kind of reimbursing at right now?
They're reimbursing, I believe, at 67%.
Okay.
We met with our insurance broker a couple of weeks ago, last week, and again, they were very optimistic because most districts are looking at double-digit increases, but they are anticipating that we will fall within where we were anticipating. So we budgeted for 6%, and we feel like right now that that's a good increase. If anything changes, then we will definitely let you know. But right now, our claims are trending close to the projections, so they were feeling optimistic about that. And then I do have an update on the insurance claim for the frozen pipe damage. The total damages we're estimating at a little over $38,000. So we will have to pay the $10,000 deductible, but that should be what we have to pay. And then Kerma, I believe, will pick up the rest of it. They're reviewing it right now. So that's a lot less than some of the other water damage that we've had. So we were very thankful that they were able to catch it quickly and minimize the amount of damage. So that's pretty much it.
What a great combination of an early catch coupled with, new building with new materials and no carpet and tile and all those other types of, applications
Yes.
that help mitigate some of the worst.
Are there other water fountains that are attached to exterior walls that don't have?
Jose was on that investigation. He's away this week. He discovered there was, I think, no insulation in the wall, and so went and insulated, and then sent his guys around to go investigate.
Check the other,
So I'll be happy to carry that question to him, and he can come in the next one and tell us all what the real story is.
It was a weird spot. It was an odd spot.
And it's always in the building. I mean, I'm glad that it was caught early and had all the modern accessories and the right accessories to make it, to mitigate the damage. But, it's always in the building that was just done. Any other questions for Lila? Thank you very much. Committee reports. Policy just met earlier this evening, and we went through policy audit that was done this summer. We made a plan to look at and manage our policies moving forward, to look at mandated policies and then best practice policies, and see where we are and work backwards in terms of oldest to newest. And so later on in the coming months, there'll be a few board meetings that'll just be to coin more policy paloozas, and we'll just go through it and get everything done. In addition, there was the Wilton Capital Planning Committee met. If you go to their website, they had a report that will be presented to the Board of Selectmen. I believe their March 2nd,
Yes.
March 2nd meeting. It goes through what the proposed projects for bonding were at. Before the committee, there was 14 that were ranked and prioritized. The top, I believe, 5 and then number 7 were the BOE projects that were put forward, and that's the recommendation that the report carries to the Board of Selectmen, who then are the ones that bring bonding to the annual town meeting. And I think that was, I know Laura, you sit on the bonding committee, correct?
Yes. So the bonding committee met last night before, I can't remember, and we've put together a formula. So the goal is to present this formula to the Board of Selectmen, where you can plug in whatever, when they decide how much you move forward with bonding, you can plug it in and it'll show you the debt service over 5-year, 10-year, 20-year. It's actually very, very good. We have some very smart people in our committee and in our town who put that together. So I think it's a useful tool, it's very transparent, and they intend to use it go forward. But we're still finalizing some of the numbers as to what's gonna be put in there.
Yeah. Laura, is that model around, is that online someplace where?
I think they're making some tweaks to it from our meeting, recent meeting, but yes, it'll be out there. Yeah, and they're also, Dawn Sabo, CFO, will be, Lila, if you want to see it as well. There's gonna be a white paper that explains how to use it. It's,
Terrific.
Yeah.
so you can see.
I mean, that and with the
It's
mill rate
good.
model makes, forecasting pretty powerful. I think that's
Yeah.
for committees. Moving on to review and discuss Genesis relocation.
Great, so you wanna help me with this one? So Melissa showed up earlier this year, and after, a very successful relocation to Community Steps, wanted to know if, we had an appetite to think about relocating Genesis, and, kind of at the outset here, Genesis has, been located at Trackside since the inception of the program, and that's been a wonderful.
Musical chairs.
It was kind of nice to see that.
Right, we can switch. I'm happy to mix it up a little bit.
There's a lot of humor there.
Tonight, I'll be playing the role of.
Right, there you go.
Two in a box.
The Trackside's been, just a wonderful, and really, from the day one, really supportive of the program, and in more recent years, with John and Fields as the executive director, they've really gone above and beyond to try to make our kids and our staff feel at home, and fundamentally. The challenge is sharing a space, and so it doesn't matter who the program participants are, and so there's still an element our staff for years have had to kind of pack up and unpack every single day, and then things happen on the weekend and things get moved or lost, and so while they've always taken it in stride, the opportunity to have their own dedicated space where they can live and not have to worry about sharing is really appealing, especially if we can find a space that is attractive and meets our financial parameters. We're not looking to really pay the budget on this one. And so kind of with that in mind, Melissa has been working with a real estate agent in town and looked at a number of spaces, and we think we've found a space here in town, and so we're working through some details of a draft lease, which as soon as those are finalized, I'll bring it forward to the board. But it's an exciting opportunity for the staff. We really haven't spent much time talking to them about it. There's still some design work and things we want to do, but in terms of the opportunity and really giving these folks their own dedicated space, it's going to be a win-win, I think. And what else would you share?
No, I think, to reiterate what you said, Trackside's been amazing partners for us to work with, and it's just really a shared space comes with complications, and they have things go on that interrupt our teaching and learning. They're bound to our schedule if they want to get in early and set up for things, so they feel those growing pains just as much as we do. I also think, Genesis has grown over the years, which was always our projection, and not to say we've outgrown the space, but we're getting there. And there's also, sensitive, confidential situations that happen that just, if you've been in that space, can be hard to mitigate for students too. So just thinking about kind of their dignity and privacy when we look at spaces when some of those more intense and acute situations happen, something that we were really thinking about. So again, we haven't spent a lot of time speaking about it with the staff, but we have, ideas programmatically what would be meaningful for them to have, just like in any of our spaces. So that's really where we are and wanting it to be cost neutral. So just kind of doing our due diligence there and finding a space that could give us all that while, staying in the budget that we have. So I think we're pretty close.
Yeah, so next steps, so we've got a draft lease, so we're working through those details now. We have to engage with the town on the permitting front, and I'm not anticipating any issues there because the zoning shouldn't be a problem, but we want to just make sure we take all those steps. And then assuming all that comes forward and everybody's on board, then we would kind of go forward, formalize the agreement, and then outfit the space and be ready for the summer.
Just out of curiosity, with all the building renovation going on, was there no opportunity to just create a space within one of the buildings or attached to one of the buildings or
Not
on our campus more broadly?
That's not something we pursued at all.
Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I think, a lot of the students that attend Genesis are students, really struggling with some pretty high levels of anxiety that come around just even sometimes the physicality of being in a large school building. So them having a separate therapeutic space is really important to the model and the service that we're providing. So there's probably a deliberate effort to not have it attached to a school.
Yeah, we did, there was a time when we were first intending on that, somebody had proposed looking at this, it's the Marble
Yeah.
Tavern over here.
Yeah.
And so, kind of on its face, it was kind of an interesting, provocative idea, but, for those reasons, we immediately set it aside.
Is it, because I know that the Genesis, they were approximate to town and
Yeah.
spend time in town, is that still gonna be the?
That's definitely was part of our goal. We also have a lot of hybrid students, so over 70% of our high school students are shared taking high school classes and also at Genesis, which I think is a really unique and wonderful model because they get to live in both worlds. So we also were really thinking about proximity between the new space and the high school for that transportation time. So a lot of work went into try to finding the space, and like Kevin said, I think we're pretty close, but we did think about those things because community involvement, connection to the high school, connection to Middlebrook for some of those shared students is really important.
And other staff at Genesis on board, they,
I think they have loved their relationship with Trackside. They've really built a strong connection to the programs and the staff there, especially with Lori and John. And, packing up your trunk every day and bringing things along, there's a fatigue to that. So I think they're encouraged to have their own space. I think more importantly, that's a really tight-knit community in terms of students and staff. So I think the thought, we haven't shared anything with students, maybe they're listening, but is really about how to design their own space and kind of having voice behind that. The charter is a huge part of our program there, and how you create your physical space and carry yourself in the space is, where it all starts. So I think there's, a lot of momentum that could be built with it.
I look forward to hearing where it is.
Yeah.
Stay tuned,
Come to our next meeting.
Yeah, that's how I'll get people to come. Find out.
No, I think it's an exciting opportunity, because the program came first, and I think there's a strong connection between the success of that program and the physical, and
Absolutely.
technological environment in which it operates in. And, we have proof of concept that the program itself works, and now to be able to put it into a space that'll help push it up to the next level, I think is something that's really exciting, especially when it comes cost neutrally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we look forward to hearing, next steps when they happen. Any other questions for Kevin or Melissa?
No.
Okay. Fiscal year 2027 superintendent's proposed budget. This comes with our priorities number 10, 11, 12, and 14. I've said it once, I'll say it twice. I think passing a budget and deliberating on a budget is really one of the most important things that school boards do. Budgets set the mission and the goals and the priorities of a district. It's a monetary expression of what we hope to and do achieve. So we have spent quite a bit of time with this budget, and I just want to take a moment to say, learning a new tool is, comes with growing pains, but the way this budget and this book has been prepared this year has just been, I think, transformative to our ability to deliberate and to communicate with each other and discuss what's in and what's out. So I know that, we've been talking about landscape and portrait and all these things, and it'll only get better as time goes on. So I do want to just, thank everyone, because doing something new the first time is always the hardest and heaviest lift. So it is our intention to vote tonight on the budget. So I do want to go around the table, take an opportunity if anybody has any, so for the folks at home, the question document hasn't changed. There's been nothing in it since the last Board of Finance meeting, but it is up to date and does reflect both Board of Finance and Board of Education questions. And we've had lots of discussion and deliberation, and I want to take the time to open it up to other board members for either questions or points to discuss, or I guess.
To echo you, this was great. Clear, much more understandable, well presented. This was a wonderful way to go through the budget. And I like the process that we went through this year. You know, talking to the staff, talking to the, listening to the administrators about, their priorities, what they wanted from, how they were designing their next year and how they were thinking about helping their staff be better and have more tools. I just think this process has been very, I think, good and thoughtful.
I want to just thank everyone who's involved. Thank you, Kevin, for your responsible stewardship. And thank you to all of the principals.
Yes.
This can't be the most fun part of your year, but it's essential and
Sure it is.
grateful.
Look how happy they are.
This budget meets our obligations and goals, but it's free from any wish list items. It sustains our core services and maintains our class sizes. Costs have risen and our needs have risen, and the budget reflects that. We're keeping our promises to our town to deliver on a quality education while being fiscally responsible. I noticed today, there was a news item from Travel and Leisure magazine listing the 10.
I missed that one.
The 10, I don't know, it's the top towns in Connecticut, and Wilton was in there. It was listed in no particular order, but Wilton was on there. So the school budget is a community budget, and strong schools help kids, families, and property values. And one quote from that magazine said, talking of Wilton, it's been one of the hottest markets I've seen in recent years. So, I don't think people are coming for the beaches or the nightlife.
Definitely not the light night.
So thank you for keeping our town what we all expect it to be.
Oh goodness. We don't even have Murray Meadows anymore.
I know.
One day.
We'll get there. Yeah. Any other thoughts or comments? I mean, I know budget's always a complicated matter, especially there are bits and pieces that we grapple with more than others, and that we think twice on, and I think that we all maybe would individually approach things differently. I think that we look at the overall trajectory and the place that the budget puts us. I mean, I am just you take the kind of the 10,000-foot look down on what this process has done for our kids in this town over the last years that I've been sitting here. I just am grateful that we have the professionals that we do that guide us along the way. I know we have Pat on Zoom just in case people didn't know. I didn't mean to call him out, but I just wanted to, everybody to know that we're a full board here tonight. And is there any? Does anybody have any other questions or comments that they want to make on the budget or the process, or before we look for we ask for a motion?
Is it gonna be?
Oh no, nobody.
I mean, I guess maybe I will say one thing, which is I really do appreciate the process and the engagement in the process. I'll be really I agree with the vast majority of the budget, and there's a few things that I would do differently, to be honest. And we talked about them, and I feel like you've engaged well and sort of answer the questions, at least explain where you're coming from. And again, I think it's one of those things where at the end of the day we have to make a sense for broadly, and I don't want to give away my vote.
But that's exactly right. I think there are always
It's like a reasonable compromise, if that makes sense.
So is there a motion to adopt the 2027 Milton Public Schools Superintendent's proposed budget as run and presented on January 8th?
So moved.
Thank you, Nicola. Is there a second? Thank you, Pam. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. So I just
Thank you.
thank you. And just so just in general, how we move forward, we now have a Board of Education budget. This is no longer the superintendent's proposed budget. This is our budget. Thank you. Carrie, it's my budget. I would like to take a minute to thank Kevin and the administrators and staff, and a special thank you to CFO Lila and Marianne in the business office and Lucille. As I mentioned earlier, this is our first budget delivered with the ClearGov platform. And new systems take time and patience and extra work. And the budget book is clear, transparent, and digestible, and will also improve with time. And it really promotes meaningful understanding and discussion. So thank you. I know we've been talking about budget books and how they're presented for many years now, and this is, very much appreciated. I'd also like to thank my fellow board members for their hard work and dedication. I think the budget is transparent and every dollar is accounted for. It was also carefully considered. We have asked serious and challenging questions. We have reflected on enrollment trends and programmatic needs. The budget reflects Kevin's proposal and now unanimous board support for the district's goals and priorities. It provides for performance and opportunity at the highest levels. With this budget, we maintain current class sizes, recognize our commitments to teachers and staff, and support the district's continuous improvement initiatives that promote the delivery of a rigorous and challenging educational experience for all our students. I'll just say that, Wilton values its commitment to education, and it's right and appropriate that that commitment also extends to physical and technological learning environments and needs. While our operating budget fulfills the board's commitment as tenants, we cannot bond and we cannot carry multiple multi-million-dollar, multi-year expenditures. We look forward to working with the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen as bonding priorities are set and funds are secured for much-needed school infrastructure projects and improvements. This budget, with thoughtful cost avoidance strategies, strategic resource management, and position shifts, also demonstrates this board's and the district's commitment to responsible stewardship of tax dollars. I'd like to thank the previous and current Board of Finance leadership and members for their collaboration and partnership, especially with the guidance setting process. We look forward to presenting our budget to the Board of Finance at their public hearing scheduled for March 18th now, at 7 p.m. in the Middlebrook Auditorium. We hope to see our education stakeholders in the audience, and we thank all Wiltonians for their continued participation and support in the budget process. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
One other action item is new policy 5118.2, educational opportunities for military children. It reflects our goal number 5, 6, and 14. This is a second read at the table. Are there any questions or comments on the policy? Is there a motion to adopt new education policy, educational opportunities for military children, 5118.2?
So moved.
Thank you, Lori. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Pam. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Comments from the public? Seeing none, I will call everybody's attention just to future business and information items. The enrollment report for January 2026 was available. We will have a regular meeting, which will also be an AI workshop on March 5th. The Board of Finance public hearing on our budget will be Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. And then we'll have our regular meeting the following night on Thursday, March 19th, and then again a regular meeting on Thursday, April 9th. The Board of Finance will be doing their budget deliberations April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd as necessary. Usually it's within the first night or two that their vote takes place. Thank you. Meeting adjourned at 7:41.